up, you filthy casuals? Welcome to the Casual Shenanigans Gaming Podcast, a podcast all about the irreverent love of gaming. I'm one of your hosts, Jeremiah, and tonight I'm joined by James.
What's up?
Dave.
Hey guys.
And Joel.
Cheers.
I didn't have my glass.
Did you think you were holding it in your hands?
It's been a long day, hasn't it, Joel?
So did you...
Cheers. I'm like, my glass is not my name.
Okay. We've been working on, we're all together today, we've been working on a bunch of stuff for future podcast ideas, topics, plans for things we're going to do with the Casual Shenanigans channel and brand. So you'll be hearing all about that next week on the podcast. But for now, if you haven't followed us on Snapchat yet, you should. It's at Casual Shenanigans. We get reminders about episodes when we live stream, stuff like that. You can also follow us on Twitter if you want to get reminders about when we record the podcast live streams. But except for this week, we normally do them at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on youtube.com/Casual Shenanigans. And you can watch the podcast live, interact with awesome members of the community live in the chat. Or if you can't do that, you can watch the show later on the YouTube channel, or you can check us out on iTunes. So
Also make sure to tell your friends because we want new listeners all the time.
yeah.
So.
And read us
Share
on
the
iTunes.
word.
We're gonna start reading some iTunes reviews. I figured out a way we can actually read them on a reliable basis without me having to install iTunes on my computer, which is like a line that I don't cross anymore. It's pretty much malware. It's like Windows 10 reminders, iTunes.
Oh, I know. I still use my 80 gig iPod from 2006, and I have to sync it with iTunes.
It's on a 5,400 RPM drive still spinning in there.
Yeah, I've dropped it a lot too.
I think my 60 gig video is still running. My mom still uses it for stuff.
Yeah, it's great.
Cool.
Unlike iTunes.
iTunes goes from like it will be actually pretty nice, and then the next two update or versions just horrible, and then it goes back to it's really good. And the next time you're like, no, I don't want to update. No, it's bad.
It's been decent on Mac. On PC, it's just bad. Like there isn't a good version of iTunes. It's all bad.
I'm not a fan of the Mac version either, honestly.
Like,
it's
I have
not user friendly.
I have so much invested already just because it's a better experience on the iPhone on its own, but an Apple TV is fine. But yeah, the actual app just goes crap every other version of it.
So games. Our main topic this evening is when did gaming stop being just about the games? That's kind of the topic title we ended up with. Joel, why don't you kind of walk us through? Or James, did you suggest this?
Yeah.
You suggested it. Walk us through what you're thinking.
I was thinking about this and thinking about a lot of the effort that goes into playing games that has nothing to do with actually playing the game. And, back in the day, the whole point of making games was to be entertained. And so it's still a form of entertainment, but it's less about, for a lot of people, it's less about personal entertainment. It's more about entertaining the masses.
The community.
And so the thought of this topic was we see so much content on YouTube now, like literally, I don't know how many, thousands and thousands and thousands of hours of game footage out there. I am curious if people still just take the time to just play for fun. Just play because they love games and that's why they want to be playing it. So.
I mean, I think millions of people definitely do, but they're the same people who never comment on any articles, who don't really follow mainstream gaming press. You just go to GameStop or Walmart or whatever and see new games that are out, and they're like, oh, cool, and they buy it and play it. But for people who interact with the community who are like, they're in the NeoGAF threads, they're posting all over YouTube videos for trailers and stuff, for those people, it is weird how, like, I mean, we're all guilty of this too, but like everybody has a YouTube channel now, everybody Let's Plays, everybody streams to their friends. And I think it started like midway through the Xbox 360, PS3 generation, because when they first came out, people were still switching to HD TVs, and lots of people still didn't have high-speed internet, and people still don't. But it felt like it was a traditional console launch where you just bought a bunch of games and played them on the console, whether or not it was connected to the internet. It didn't really need to be. And I feel like that definitely switched kind of midway through that generation, kind of around the time Modern Warfare came out, I guess, and Modern Warfare blew up, because that kind of kicked off the Call of Duty tips and tricks.
Well, it took me a really long time to even, and I still don't honestly really like it, but it's just it's so weird that people watch hours and hours and hours of other people playing games and not them playing games. Because the content that I seem basically attracted to want to watch is not of people playing games, but more of, let's say they figure out a secret, or not necessarily them. I don't want to watch a walkthrough, or like it could only be a walkthrough, basically. Like figure out how do I get through this puzzle. That's it, and then I'm done. Like I don't want to watch them. I want to play a game. And then the other is if they know like the history behind it, or like almost like a documentary about the game.
A lore video, perhaps?
Well, not necessarily lore, but like the making of the game.
Okay, gotcha.
So they say like Half-Life 2 and the Left 4 Dead series, like you can do the commentary, and I would watch that because that's really interesting because you see like, here we put the zombies here and the patterns this way. Like that was really cool to watch because I feel like you're learning something about the game.
That's content made about the game,
Yeah.
not taking the game and your experience is sharing your experience.
Yeah, you
with
just
other
want to
people.
hear someone else play the game, and that's just very different. And I think with every round of every new technology, when it advances and stuff, everyone has new opportunities to do things, and some people who have really good channels, and that's an awesome way to make money, and they love it, and that's just what they do. That's really cool. I mean, I do think it's awesome, but it is also really weird that like that's now the norm. Like it's like it's hard for people to play a game without going, hey, you need to see this, or it's like it didn't happen. I think the same way a lot with even Facebook when. I mean, now we're moving into more news articles and GIFs and stuff like that. But before it was, here's a photo of my dinner. Like, I didn't actually eat here unless I took a photo and showed it with everyone else got to see what I was eating. It doesn't really exist. It's just strange to me that it's not just, let's just play a game. It's now, I got to play a game, I got to record. If I'm not recording, I might not catch that awesome thing to show everyone,
Well, now the PCs had streaming for a long time. But now this current generation of consoles have now integrated Twitch and sharing, which was really cool when it was first introduced for the PS4, hitting the share button, being able to watch a friend play.
Yeah.
But when I go on the PS4, Xbox, and I appreciate that the people are streaming, because if I'm interested in possibly buying a game, I'll look in the store and then watch their stream, which it's beneficial to me. But at the same time, on their end, I'm curious if they ever just pop in a game and kick back and relax and not worry about talking to people in their chat and stuff, or they literally just every time they turn on the console, they've got to be streaming.
Yeah, because even when you watch those, it's never, oh cool, someone's playing a game. It's they know people are watching and they feel like they gotta talk and they have to explain everything and they gotta yell and they all because they're really worried about, it's very extremely rare that you can just watch one and it's like it just seems like, oh, someone's playing a game and really enjoying it, and they're not talking. They might go, ooh, oh crap, that looks scary. Like they're just reacting to the game as if you're playing completely by yourself and no one's watching. It's extremely rare. And so, obviously, I think what Jeremiah says, there's probably tons and tons of people that still do that. And I would say my brother is one of them. He's been playing a little bit of Fallout and playing Dark Souls with me, but he doesn't really know of any of the whole walkthrough online. Like that's like, what? He has no idea about that kind of stuff. So he is one of the person that just plays a game and that's it. Doesn't care about sharing, doesn't care about talking about anybody else.
I know for me personally, why I started doing YouTube stuff was because it got super lame trying to just explain all the cool stuff that I was doing in the games I was playing with friends to friends, just telling them about it. Like, oh, in Battlefield last night, like when we were playing, like you didn't see it, but I was over here doing this and it was really cool, and boy, it sure sounds lame describing it to you in person. So it started out with me just, trying to capture highlights of stuff that was going on. And then, other people started enjoying that stuff. And looking back over the years at some of the games we played, like, I've actually gone back and watched full episodes of our DayZ stuff for some of the crazy stuff that we did. I was like, man, I'm really glad we got like a recording of that, because that was like a really unique experience. Mm-hmm. And that's the kind of stuff that I really enjoy. And when it comes to other games more recently, like the Witcher series, when I started my Let's Play for Blood and Wine, I said at the beginning, if you're looking for like a reaction, like a over the top, like, whoa, crazy playthrough of Blood and Wine, or like me talking about politics over top of it, like, this is the wrong series. Like, I'm here to play the content. I'm here to experience the game and the story. I might not talk for a while if there's dialogue. Like, you're not going to hear from me.
Did it take away any of the experience for you doing Let's Play versus doing like how you played the rest of the game?
No, actually, I didn't do any Let's Plays for the main part of the game, and really the only difference for Witcher, when I'm recording and when I'm not, is when I'm recording, I'm just a little more focused. There's a little bit less rabbit trailing, but not much. But otherwise, I play it just like I do on my own, which some people do seem to enjoy, which actually surprised me because I'm a very slow
I guess you
player.
do talk a little bit more.
I do.
So where you wouldn't have done on your own.
It's almost still my inner dialogue though. Like I'm not being like, whoa, that was crazy. Like
You're just
now the
basically
difference between
talking out
doing
loud
your
you're
Let's
thinking
Play and then if you were live streaming, if you had people watching live,
You would be. We've live streamed a little bit before when we were recording Total War.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, you guys don't do that anymore.
We did it one night, just for fun. I mean, it was decently
a lot of
fun.
fun.
No, I'm saying you guys used to do a lot of Twitch streaming, like you.
Oh,
play a game
we did
play
more,
live.
yeah.
But you don't do that anymore.
It's just
really.
a lot.
At least I haven't heard.
It's just
that
a
you
lot
guys
of work, and we'd rather be creating better content, not to put down any Twitch streamers, but like, I feel like creatively, that's the lowest form of doing stuff on YouTube, or because you can't. It's all live. There's nothing you can really. You're just playing a game. If you're a super awesome player, like some Counter-Strike players, you'd watch them play just because they have absolute mastery of the game. Or some people that are so funny you would watch just because they're that entertaining. But as far as like gameplay, most people who are streamers it's purely personality based, which is fine. But if I want to see a game being played, that's like the lowest form of watching the game be played. Like the AV quality, the video quality is the worst.
Yeah.
And normally it's more about entertainment more than actually playing the game, which doesn't mean it doesn't have a place.
Yeah.
But it's not really the way I would prefer to consume it.
And that's actually why I think I stopped streaming as much as I used to, is because with streaming, it really starts to come down to the community and the personality versus the gameplay. And while I enjoyed that, I really enjoyed making curated gameplay-focused content a lot better. Like if I were doing a Witcher live stream where like people are asking questions, it'd be fun to like help people get into the Witcher universe. But I think for me, if I were having to curate a community while playing the game, that's when it would start taking away from my experience. But if it's just me alone recording how I would usually play, like it's not taking anything away from me. I'm still there in the game, immersed, being me. Which is why I think I've tended to really prefer that curated offline content that's then uploaded, edited down, nice, 1440p, not 720p. I think I really prefer that kind of content to make, at least.
But even in our group experience, playing DayZ on a night that we're just playing for fun, and then playing a night saying, "Oh, we're recording," and having this goal of we've got to get content.
There is a huge
or we've
difference.
kind of wasted.
That's
some
why we
time.
stopped doing DayZ content, was because when it started becoming like we had to force it too much because DayZ the game couldn't really support us escalating the series, and that's why we had to stop. There's too many nights of we got to do something, and we couldn't just play the game for fun.
Yeah, you had to be really careful. What are you saying? What are you talking about? Like,
well, with you in general, we generally just be like, Joel,
you should do that. You should do that.
But
in
even the sense
general.
of like, oh, we got to keep it immersive because
exactly.
You might have the DayZ players like, oh, they're just goofing off. Like, well, that's not going to work with that kind of.
We can't goof off and talk about a movie we just watched or something because like that's not.
Yeah, like that
related
would
to the
be.
game. Yeah.
Yeah, because that would obviously get edited.
well,
so
I want to talk about that anyway because I really feel like you guys are bringing down my DayZ immersion when we're just playing. So you guys can just act like we're recording just for me at all times.
Now, is it still okay to ask you where we are on the map?
That's part of the gameplay experience.
it's part.
I mean, you do like being the
of
DayZ
his
master,
ego
right?
going, "Ooh, I know the whole map."
I know my role.
For me, one of the things I really don't like about where kind of gaming's gone to is I feel like people are so rabid for content that a game is consumed and kind of there's a verdict leveled against it before it's even out. Good example being Battlefield 1. So a couple screenshots leak, people instantly start tearing them apart. A couple details leak a couple hours early, people instantly tear it apart. Before the reveal happens, we already know what it is, where it's set, and we've seen all the artwork.
Supposedly, too.
Right. Then the reveal happens. They show you a ton of stuff.
Show you the trailer 3 times. In a
Show you the trailer 2.5 times. And people then within an hour, there's videos all over YouTube of people tearing apart every frame of the trailer, trying to figure out, really posting very incorrect video titles like secrets revealed, things you didn't know, Easter eggs, blah 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 blah. Right, because DICE accidentally threw something in the
10
trailer.
surprises you won't find anywhere else but here about Battle.
So they've torn this trailer apart, okay? And then there's a gameplay event. A bunch of Battlefield YouTubers get to go out to that. And then they record a bunch of gameplay footage and they start talking about the game like the game is done. But that was thrown at the end. well, we'll see what changes by the final release. But then they're talking about gameplay of like, here's how the guns feel, here's how this feels, here's how the map looks of this alpha gameplay.
I love that little accent you did.
And then
that was.
as it progresses, and then when an open beta happens, then there's thousands and thousands of people doing the exact same thing. By the time the game comes out, unless you actively avoid it, most people will have seen a few dozen hours of gameplay footage in various, or seen a few dozen people's different opinions. And then really once the game comes out, all you're evaluating it against is, does it hold up to everything people have been talking about for 6 months? Not, you get a trailer, a couple screenshots, a few details, then the game releases and you talk about it. I mean, already certain YouTubers have already posted like 25, 30 Battlefield 1 videos, like campaign secrets, weapon reviews, like doing like their multiple squad get together things. Like it's series they're trying to keep going from previous Battlefields and stuff, but like it feels like there's too much. Like the game's not even close to out yet, and people are already dozens and dozens of hours into trying to show you the game that's not done.
You know what? It's like YouTube almost is like an MMO in a way. If you think about it, like no, think about this.
So
like
life is like an MMO.
well, I mean, if you think about it, like
It is pretty massive.
a video could become viral, which is essentially like an unlock or something. It's like getting the next treasure chest. You don't know what's going to happen because there's the potential of, if I get this video out soon, if I share this, I get this knowledge out there, and I'm first or I'm whatever. You could honestly essentially be really famous and start making a crap ton of money for maybe at least one video at least or something. And I think because there's that 100% possibility that if that happens, like it's gonna be good, but you never know when it's gonna happen. People just rush towards that, and that's what gaming is like starting to turn into, at least that group of gamers. It's just it's so odd. It'd be interesting. We should actually get my brother on to talk about some games sometime, because
Does he know what podcasts are? Or is that
we've been playing. We played through Division. We just finished the campaign. I think we have like 2 missions left.
You guys are ahead of me, actually.
From DLC, I'm level 30. He's level 30 as well.
Oh man!
But it's interesting hearing him talk about the game, because it is unlike hearing anyone else who's really into gaming or maybe follows YouTube stuff or reviews. It's like completely disconnected. It's like he plays
different
offline.
language.
Yeah, exactly. Different language. Like he's complete offline mode for him, and essentially, he's like, I love, like, this game is like, holy crap, this game looks amazing. The graphics are awesome. He's like, everything's just like super awesome. It's like he hasn't
it's
seen
all about
games.
point of reference. If you've only ever eaten McDonald's, you think, oh, McDonald's is really good. But if you go to a Ruth's Chris or eat like a really nice meal, then you're like, oh, that's what. Now that McDonald's tastes like.
Well, I don't know. It was just fascinating to hear, because it's like he doesn't know all the buzzwords of gaming, or like, oh, the patch notes are out. You know what I mean? Like, no, it's just like he starts playing. He's like, this game's awesome. It's like, it's easy to get into, whatever. It was just kind of fascinating. It'd be interesting to hear his opinion on it. Like, show him some stuff and be like, what do you think of this? Because it's like he's completely
much less
no
cynical,
idea.
probably.
Yeah, we're a little bit like that with the Division, because we've kind of avoided the overall Division community, because they've gone through, I absolutely love this game, I hate the game, the in-game's terrible, the Dark Zone's broken, these new patches are bad, ooh, look at this new weapon drop, I'm a Paragon Phoenix gold level 1,000.
John didn't know the game was like an open world game. Like he doesn't consider it as like the same way if someone drops the word open world, they go, oh, well, I'm gonna get 5,000 hours in this game because it's open world. Like, come on, Ubisoft, why don't I have 5 billion hours? And like, he doesn't even know what end game. He has no idea what end game means. Like, we all know what end game means. It's like, oh, what can I do after I beat the game? Like, what's keeping me? He just thinks, oh, game's over. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, cool, I enjoyed it. Thanks a lot.
Well, that's because we've been very casually playing the Division. It does feel like all these problems people are talking about, I don't see. Like, we hop on.
I don't even know where to start looking for the problems, honestly.
Because we're not that involved in it. Unlike with DayZ, where we'd hop in after a patch and we're like, Dave, what doesn't work now? And Dave's like, okay, good news is the hotbar is working, but if you put on jeans, you will get warped out to the coast. So it's like,
the fire starting kit in your backpack will launch you into space.
Yeah, well, think of streaming and Twitch and stuff like that. That essentially forces a game, or basically, I think the player who does that a lot for, like, even maybe not for a living, but they just love it and that's what they want to do, and they want to get billions of viewers and stuff like that. I think they are seeing games in a different light, because they expect, like, I don't want just 30 hours of this. I need to bring this thing out for 600 hours because it's doing well on my YouTube channel. There's not much in this game, Ubisoft. You suck. It's like, well, like, I mean, how can you like Journey? Why doesn't Journey have an end game? Like, I think even
I don't think anyone ever said that.
Well, I think from just a streaming perspective, they're maybe expecting more from a lot more games now because it's like, well, I got to stream, I got to have something else to do. What's the next thing? I don't know.
I have an example for you guys too. It's not just the community, say YouTube and Twitch, that is kind of putting games through the ringer, even like really early. It's the developers too. Next week, the Fallout 4 Vault Tech DLC comes out, which has a short quest line with it, where you unlock a new vault area, and then there's like some actual new NPCs you interact with. There's some fights you do, and then you get like a bunch of new stuff to build in the workshop and in this new vault area. Well, Bethesda last week did a stream and had some viewers that told me I should go check it out. And I looked and I was surprised. It was a 4-hour long stream where 3 developers basically sat down and played the DLC. Like here's how you get to the new DLC. Here's the fights you do to get in. Here's the people you talk to. Here's the dialogue. Here's all the new stuff you can build. Here's what you can build out your other settlements now. And this comes out next week.
Sell the DLC.
Like they just, it wasn't a whole lot from what I saw. Like I just skipped through it, but it was like a 4-hour long stream where they, from what I saw, showed like everything. And like it wasn't, I won't say it was like an awkward stream, but it just seemed like they weren't sure if they should be talking the whole time or like should they let the dialogue speak for itself. Like, are they doing a let's play? Are they doing a showcase? Is it like a behind the scenes? It just seemed like a weird in between of like just here everything is, and that was a week before it came out. And it was kind of, from the developers, just a very complete look at a coming DLC. It wasn't a tease at all. It was
kind of crappy.
It was, here's everything.
I mean, the trend of even with movies too, obviously, trailers and stuff show more and more of the movie, and even just reading up on like promotions of stuff, they are very worried for people who don't know the series. They want to make sure they know what they're getting into. But they're like really fearful of that because they go, well, people who love the movie already, they're going to see it no matter what.
They're sold.
We're trying to sell to the people who don't know anything about it. But I think the idea of just, I don't think it honestly this exists as much as people think it does. But it's like, oh, I need to know what I'm getting into. Like if I go in and not getting what I'm expected, like oh, I want a refund. I think it's just ridiculous. You're going to have a bad movie experience every once in a while. It's not going to be your favorite movie. But I think that even so with games, it's like, here's everything, guys, to make sure. I'm like, there's no mystery involved as much into games or anything. That would suck if let's say Half-Life 3 does.
I knew it was going to be Half-Life 3. I knew it.
But we do a whole, here you go, the whole thing, and mystery. What?
That's a good example though. It's
two other components that I was thinking of when thinking about gaming's not necessarily being just about gaming anymore are esports and unlockables and achievements. Because you're not playing, kind of working in the back floor. When you're unlocking achievements, you're not playing necessarily just for fun. You're playing to get your either your gamer score up. Or your Steam levels higher. Just random things that which in and of itself is a form of entertainment to you, but it's not focusing on the experience. It's a chore. It's a task that you're trying to complete.
Well, it's an add-on for people who want to get everything.
Well, people will play games just because
the score
pushes their
they want to
up.
complete.
James, how do you treat achievements in games you play?
I never think about achievements.
Nice.
Literally ever.
The only time I've ever wanted to try to get at least a lot of achievements is honestly probably just the Dark Souls games, and the reason I would do it is because some of the achievements, if you get them, that means you've kind of gotten all the bosses, gotten all the weapons, and I kind of want to experience everything in the game, so I use it more as like
Not the Storm King though. You don't want to beat him.
I'm working on that. I'm waiting for the DLC, and then I'm gonna go jump back.
Oh, okay. Because I beat him 2 months.
Yeah, well, because Mark helped and stuff. So.
See, I don't have a problem with using achievements as a way to get more enrichment out of your gameplay experience or to add more content to what you're doing.
But I know
But
exactly
some
what you
people
mean.
will buy games just for the achievements.
But if they
it
enjoy
gives.
that, who cares?
But it's not gaming. That point. It's
To them, maybe.
it's like metagaming. It's still gaming, but it's metagaming.
it's collecting at that point. It's not.
Yeah, but I think. There's a lot of people that just play through garbage games they don't like, just to get the score as well. I know even Joy, some games that she doesn't really, really enjoy because there's a few extra achievements she wants to complete. She wants to finish all the tasks, so she'll do that. And it's interesting because it's kind of like, I think more and more games add them as a way to sucker you back into the game, as opposed to
games with
here's something
trophies sell
interesting,
better.
you know?
I mean, it does make a difference.
I mean,
for sales.
essentially there's been achievements since NES days and everything. Atari.
Well, that's
it's more.
it's
I mean, like
shareable achievements,
yeah.
not like.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm saying like from Banjo-Kazooie, you have collectibles. Okay, like the new ukulele game, they were talking about saying we're excited. They said we're excited to bring back collectibles, but in the way that they're actually usable. In the sense, like now games just like, yeah, you shot 4 somethings, you get literally a gamer tag that says you did 50, ultra kills or something like this. This one, you collect something, now you can do a flying maneuver or something like that. So it's essentially, it is a collectible. It's still like you get an achievement for it, but now you actually get something connected to the game. Kind of like the old Mario Brothers games and stuff like that. Like the collectibles actually had some value to it, not just you completed 1 million kills, here's a gamer score thing. I think I don't know. I think it's used for more bad than good.
I think it's possible. I think for me personally, achievements are a fun way to see where I am in a game, but I don't think I've ever played a game to completion because of achievements. Like in Arma, I was looking the other day, I had an achievement pop up. I have 30% of the achievements in Arma 3, and I really do not care.
And what, 1,600 hours of gameplay?
I was like, I think I got my money's worth. But for Arma specifically, it was cool to see like the first time that a player, when I was playing as Zeus, like the overall god mode, a player can like ping to get your attention. I got like a little achievement, like someone pinged you when you were Zeus. Like, oh, that's cool. Like, thing done in the game. But I'm not gonna like go through the list of not unlocked ones and be like, I have to do all these Arma things to get all my achievements.
See, I like the achievements that are just fun to get.
Yeah.
Like, what is it? In Dark Souls, when the first time you die, it's like, welcome to Dark Souls.
Yeah, those, I love
See, I mean, that
yeah.
kind of stuff is funny to me.
Yeah.
But buying a game like Bad Rats just to...
No.
Get your Steam level up.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like...
It's level. They could not
It's
care less.
then it becomes more about status than it does about a gaming experience.
People like that. I mean, they can do whatever they want. Like, so you mentioned esports. I don't really watch any esports. I don't really watch any competitive gameplay stuff. Not that I can't appreciate it, but I don't really enjoy that much. But when it comes to cars, I love cars. Everybody knows. I drive my car, work on my car, work on friends' cars, read car magazines, listen to a car podcast, watch most of the people I'm subscribed to on YouTube who I actually watch are car related.
Yeah.
I watch more of that. And I follow a few versions of motorsports because I like the culture. I want to be a part of most of the culture, not really stance, but I want to be a part of like most of the rest of the culture. So I just want to see what everybody's up to. I want to have my fingers in a little bit of multiple different types of car content.
Yeah.
So I see esports as a way for like people who are really into Counter-Strike or Dota or League or something. They can be involved in it if they understand the game on that deep level.
They can be involved in it, but in a lot of those cases, to be truly competitive, you have to put blinders on to the rest of the games you play, I'd imagine.
For the rest, yeah, you can only play that game.
Yeah,
Well, it's like
But
football.
again, I mean, I guess, but that's
Like,
really
how many
almost the same with racing. Like if you have to put blinders onto a lot of life if you want to be the top.
Right, but
racer,
then it's not just focusing on the gaming; it's focusing on competition.
Yeah, I think. I mean, like I don't know. Like I don't have as much problem with the sports of that. I mean, like some people just get really wound up into it, where honestly they're probably never going to get anywhere, but they're just going for that, and it's honestly I think in some ways wasting life away trying to get somewhere they might not ever get there, but it's just like hours
like
and hours
everybody
and
who's
hours
starting
and
a
hours and
Minecraft
hours.
channel in
Yeah,
2016.
gosh.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
But I mean, okay, like James
Start a
and I-
No Man's Sky channel. Nobody's gonna play it because it's not as good as everybody thinks it is.
But I mean, James and I, we've played more games that were not connected at all to online and sharing and clips and all that kind of stuff than we have in the gaming that you can share footage, and stuff like that. So for me, the Dark Souls games it felt more like my childhood growing up, where here's a controller, good luck, and it was really like because. Why Dark Souls really relaxing to me is because I'm really just focused only in on the game. Like I'm really just focused on this. I'm not worrying about like am I sharing something, am I streaming, like what am I gonna do with it? Like it's just I'm playing the game. That's it. I'm immersed. I'm really excited about that. And so I think people need to be just careful how much they I don't know get so deep into I gotta share the clip or gotta do this.
If they enjoy it, though, go for it.
I mean,
Or they don't have to be careful; they can do it or they want. Honestly.
Yeah.
But this was just my
Yeah.
thought that gaming has changed since
all that stuff is options that it didn't
Yeah.
used to be an options. Like when they announced a revised version of a console, they spent a lot more time on the Xbox One talking about the media features and this how small it was, how light it was, everything that has nothing to do with how the games play. And that's what they spent most of their time on. And that's the same with any console. Any console release, they go, it's going to play awesome games. Games look cool. And then in future press conferences, they'll actually talk about games. When they're releasing the console, they just want to tell you about everything else it can do. Everything it can do that's not gaming related, because gaming is it's merging into regular media where video game consoles are they're hooked up to the big home theater system. Maybe your whole family or half your family plays games on some casual level. Like, it's not something that you do sitting in your bedroom, It's not something
on your yellow computer, your beige computer.
Yeah, like it used to be much more of that's a thing you could do over there. Now gaming can really happen on any device, as we found out with Pokemon Go. Anybody, it turns out, is interested in various games. And it's kind of like, I think it's just really merging together. You can hop from a game to a movie to streaming music to doing whatever, and that all used to be different devices and more different subcultures, and now everything just blends a lot more.
Like I think where gaming is headed is honestly a lot worse than where it was.
You think so?
Oh yeah, I mean, well, how many games now have microtransactions? How many more games have more?
But there's more games that are still just good and don't have any of that.
I know.
There's
I
more
think
games
there's less and
overall.
less. I think there's
Yeah,
less and less. There's more games overall. There's good games.
I think there's a
but
lot
I'm saying
more
there's a lot
lazy
more.
games.
There's a lot more add-ons and things that are completely unneeded. That I think because of even streaming. I'm not saying streaming is bad. Because there's a lot of people that do awesome work, and that's something they love, and I'm happy for them. But I think those trends are not exactly helping newer games as developed. I mean, same thing like CD Projekt Red. Like, it is so cool seeing their game come out, the way they do their DLC, no crazy frills, just here's a pure awesome game. This is like what you see is what you get, right? But I mean, even with Division, or what's the next one that's coming out, like even Watch Dogs, like every microtransactions, you have to get over these little hurdles, and I think it affects the way developers make games because they know you're going to be streaming it. So unlockables, you can have this. People love seeing that. They like having that thrill of the hunt of like, what are you going to get next? I mean, even with World of Warcraft, like with streaming, I think it's they're helping each other. I think honestly a little bit of the wrong way, where it's getting away from the gaming to like, how can we keep people sucked into the game just for profit reasons,
Well,
not necessarily for entertainment.
for developers' standpoint, you don't have to be as motivated to make a new game if you're creating stuff that just builds onto the game you just built. So you can take longer to make your next sequel.
Yep.
Because of DLC, because of microtransactions. Whereas, back in the day, when you made a game, you have to make another game to survive. You have to keep making stuff.
Which you could do in a year. I mean, it wasn't like it takes
Right.
4 years like it does now.
Also, merchandising kind of took a dip for a while and is starting to come back up, through GameStop and ThinkGeek and stuff like that. But merchandise was kind of a big thing that was, you sell a game and then you get people to spend more money on the game by buying external merchandise.
Yeah.
But, like I said, that dipped down. Now it's starting to come back.
Coming back, Bethesda.net, powered by ThinkGeek.
What would you guys?
Is it really?
Yeah, I actually just ordered a Minutemen t-shirt because it was on sale. I mean, but it was on like page 12 of the Fallout 4 store. Like, there's a crazy amount of merch on the Bethesda store. It's a lot to go through.
Fallout, Bethesda's got a plan for that. They're not doing. I mean, they have some microtransactions in like Fallout Shelter, but you don't have that in Fallout. I mean, I know there's DLC, but the DLC adds large content for the most part. But they're also able to make enough money outside of that through their merchandise store.
They're actually releasing new merchandise every month still. It's been 7-8 months since launch now, and just like a few new shirts and like figures and stuff each month, like new art, like wall hangings, like every single month there's new merchandise. It's a lot now.
Good for them.
It'd be interesting, like how a good and bad experience will come up. Like, okay, what if games come out soon, or they start implementing features because they know you're streaming, that add features that people who are watching your stream add more ways to interact with you as you're playing it, right? And I think in one way, for the people that love that and like that, like honestly, like traditional gaming, it's not really fun for them. Gaming is only fun when they're streaming and they're interacting.
Or social in some way. Playing with your friends or streaming.
But I'm not talking about just straight up like a co-op game or playing online with people. It's more of, they add like stuff into the chat thing. So right, so when they type in something like that, something happens on screen in your game.
That'd actually be kind of cool.
I think it's weird because like I think it's cool, but for me, like the games that I enjoy are like I'm curious to know if that's going to really start becoming such a huge trend that really influence games to such a degree that I'm not going to really be able to have the games that I enjoy anymore because gaming just changes.
I want to keep those.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm nervous. I mean, like if you're that kind of person who loves that, that's going to be great for you, you know. But I'm worried just in the games like that I really enjoy playing that are not connected to everything, that are just here's a interesting story and then I'm done, right? But if every single game is going to have social features and connectivity to chats, and it's like this one you're supposed to Twitch stream only, you know what I mean? If we're honest, like the type of gamers that we are maybe is going to start dying out and games just become something different because let's say it doesn't make money anymore. The same way like Valve was talking many years ago about saying we're not sure we're going to be making single player games anymore. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, no, like that's sucks. Like, okay, what if you hear CDPR says, oh yeah, we're not making any single player games anymore. The next one, Witcher, is just going to be...
It's an MMO.
It's an online MMO with, Twitch built in and chat stuff that every time you play, someone's always can be watching your stream. Because I don't know. So, but I'm saying, like, wouldn't that be like, dang it? So...
The taverns are full of, like, dancing emotes.
But I'm curious if other people think the same, like, they go, in the next 10 years, our game's going to change so much because that's what's more popular, so that's only the games that are going to be starting to be made. Because they're the only ones that might be making money.
The worst part of the trend to me is that now it's much more likely that people will get popular for their personality and the way they talk about games than how good they are at the game. And again, we could put all of us in the same boat,
Yeah.
Not saying none of us are good at any games, but like that's kind of seems to be the main focus, where at least like at the start of the whole Call of Duty craze, most of the people who blew up were people who were seriously good at the game, and they made the game look very, very easy. And there are still people like who are good at Battlefield, who are good at COD, who post stuff like that. But a lot of the streamers that are doing stuff, very, very average gameplay at best.
Almost like the soap opera.
They're just screaming.
I'm ticked. Most of the big car channels on YouTube, not very good drivers. Very, very average to below average driving skill. So, I don't know. Yeah. Is it still going?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
I think just a couple of final thoughts. I think Joel's concern is probably my biggest one too, is that one day we're going to see an end to pure single player, where if I didn't want to do a Let's Play of Witcher, and I just wanted to
get lost,
get lost, like there may not be very many games that are like that anymore. I think that's a real concern, but overall, at least now in 2016, although you have the oversaturation and the over marketing and the over clickbait and the over socialization of a lot of games that weren't that way a little while ago, I think overall I'm still pretty happy with how things are, because I look at things like I do crazy Fallout settlements that a lot of people aren't able to do, and I've seen other people do crazy stuff like that. Like normally 5 years ago, like how would you share a thing like that without YouTube? Like that's things that even the developers didn't expect to be done with their game. You look at mods like DayZ. DayZ exploded because of that first YouTube video where the few hundred people that were playing it were trying to be like, oh, this is a really cool experience, but that's hard to just vocalize. So someone made a video like, here's me and 30 random people running from zombies in a gigantic open world. Like, this is nuts. And it exploded. DayZ wouldn't have existed without the social aspect, the streaming, the YouTube and stuff like that. And
the YouTube?
The
YouTubes.
Oh, okay.
All the tubes connected is the important part. It's the connections that really... It's the community of the connections and tubes.
I think it's a combination of both good, really great stuff and potentially saddening stuff if it tilts too far towards the negative side. But like you said, the positive stuff is if I'm interested in buying a game, I'll go and watch somebody play it for a little while. See, I try not to watch too much of the story because I don't want it to be spoiled.
Yeah.
But I watch enough to see, like if it's an RPG, I look at the combat, then I look at just a little bit of how the dialogue works, or doing a quest, and then I'm done. By viewing that few minutes, I'm able to tell if it's something that I want to play or not. Mm-hmm. At the same time, watching people play through the game that Joel made has been kind of fun.
Oh, yeah.
But, with all that good stuff comes the people that are just hamming it up because they're
taking away from it.
So,
I just hope we never lose the option.
Yes.
It's great that they, obviously people like you, Dave, that's what you want to do, and you love showing people because you want to create it and you want to be able to get feedback on it. And you want to see what people think, and because you like doing that. And then the people who Twitch stream and they just love having a good time chatting with friends online or random people or something like that. But
The thing I appreciate when I watch Dave specifically and Jeremiah is you're still Dave.
Yeah, exactly.
You're still Jeremiah. You're not YouTube ham. You're not
YouTube.
Take a slice of that.
Oh my gosh, they're coming over my border. I gotta send more troops. You're not like screaming at just to ham it up.
It was a very depressing video for me, and I don't want to say their name, but a YouTuber I don't normally watch, a video just got recommended, and it was right when Overwatch came out, and they were like, every character played, or something.
Yeah.
And it was really just this guy, very, very average gameplay, dying constantly, just screaming incoherently.
You just sound on the video, I was like, vaping. What? Sorry.
He was green screened into the lower corner of the video. Just extremely average gameplay, not doing anything entertaining. The video had 800,000 views. And granted, he's got 1.5 million subscribers or something. He's earned that audience one way or the other. Whether or not I would want that particular audience, he's earned it. I'm not trying to take that away from him. I don't think he gambles and encourages kids to gamble away money. So he's at least better than that level. But just screaming about it, and it doesn't add anything to the game, and it's entertaining for 12-year-olds.
Screaming, it's being someone that you're not.
Yeah,
on the camera because you're trying to entertain people.
And we know some people like that. Not to any of our friends who watch the podcast, we're not talking about you, but
probably.
Shane, stop it.
This is ultra
Yeah, Shane, stop all those fake jump scares in Stalker. You're not really that scared.
You don't have a British accent, you fool.
No one's entertained by it.
But yeah, they are different, and you can actually have a conversation with them, and they're interesting. They have good thoughts. They have interesting things to say. They have, they can string together a coherent sentence. They have opinions about the game, and then when they actually play the game and they're sharing it with people, it's just incomprehensible. It's lowest common denominator, the cheapest, fastest, most disposable form of entertainment, and usually those are the people who are pumping out
clickbait. It's
and they're putting out 2 or 3 videos
quality
a day.
Yeah.
Some people, there are people who do good Let's Plays, but man, not many of them.
Yeah, I'm nervous because of how popular it is. And that is a huge thing for developers going, well, people love this.
Yeah.
Why are we going to waste money on the smaller community that just enjoys only playing the game? You know what I mean? Or that, or maybe gameplay mechanics that only work in single player that can't be connected, that can't be shared on YouTube. That won't translate to that. I can imagine lots of games are going, all right, this is an awesome gameplay mechanic, but how's it going to look when it's shared on YouTube? What would be a really cool thing we can implement that's oh, dude, that's going to be really shareable. That happens all the time in movies. They pick clips because they want it to be shared, they want it to be viral. So I just it makes me nervous thinking that's going to become so popular. Then that's well, we're going to kind of leave those types of games behind and just cater only to the people that are screaming, and because that brings in the views.
I got you right here, Joel.
See, when you watch, if you watch one of the different Rocket League videos that we've put out, we're screaming and yelling at each other, but
if you come into Teamspeak on an average
literally
night,
do.
that's what we sound like.
It is the most genuine
Yes.
representation of what we're doing. None of us are thinking, oh, we're going to record that clip. So let's say something. We're literally just entertaining ourselves.
I had to delete clips because there was too much screaming.
Certain types of screaming.
Vile screaming.
But there's no playing up to any camera. There's no stream.
And there are plenty of other people. We're not saying we do it the pure way, and other people are just casual. There are plenty of people who are like that anyway. Yeah. But yeah, there's also plenty that aren't.
Joel, I just want you to imagine, all right? Valve announces Half-Life 3 is coming out in 6 months.
That's where every V word is just going to vape right now for me now. I'm starting to
hurt you.
I know. Classic Vape and Valve announces that Half-Life 3 is coming out in 6 months. There's only going to be no trailers, no articles, no pre-release anything, except for a 1-hour live stream of a FPS live streamer screeching and yelling over the story content. The first hour of the game, green screen into the corner with like all the like donation pop-ups and the chat.
G2A affiliate link. Look at his face. Look at the babe face.
Joel, could you watch the hour-long stream?
I
On mute. He'd watch it on mute.
That's probably it.
maybe I'd download it and like.
He would like crop it so it's like all wide screen.
It's better in 21.9 anyway. The Order 1886.
More cinematic.
That would crush you, Joel.
Yeah, it would crush me.
It's like, whoa, that's crazy story twist.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh my gosh, the little brain's coming after me.
it would
Get up the crowbar.
No, I'm sad.
I'd love to get some feedback from our listening audience of what's your guys' opinions on this. Do you want things to move towards more streaming and more connections, more social, all that kind of stuff? Is that what you enjoy, or
are you guys born? Are you born social? Born mobile. Yeah. Are you?
Yeah. Are we the old fogies that we just want to play more disconnected games and stuff? I mean,
it's become. Are you really a gamer? Or do you like clickbaity, low-hanging fruit garbage?
If so,
exactly.
It doesn't appeal to me personally.
Because if that's your kind of content, guys, honestly, you should go check out youtube.com/germgaming. It's got the content you're looking for.
Come watch my video called an i5 750 bottleneck GTX 1080, where I demonstrate a very inferior knowledge of CPU bottlenecks, of GPU testing, and the games I'm playing.
And also, moving on.
I'm using MSI Afterburner. That's what I use for the overlay. It's always MSI Afterburner.
Also, if you want to visit Joel's channel, he's going to talk about the latest modifications for vaping.
For e-juice.
Oh, I hate that word so much.
Look at his face. He's so mad. This is what Joel looks like when he's angry, guys.
It's not anger. It's like disgust.
Yeah, I'm laughing.
Disgust.
It's like
his lips are curly.
It's like Indiana Jones Temple of Doom when she has to put her hand to like the gross.
It's like Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. It's just like, all of it.
I don't want to do that. I don't want to reach in there.
Joel, your opinion would change if just once you just let yourself go and you just ripped a sick cloud.
Look at his face.
I hate the way those words come out.
Unlike the way you would not hate a sick cloud that you ripped yourself. If they just came out. A sick cloud just came out of your mouth.
You always have to do that. The motion of like puffing out. I can see it. It's thick. I want to push it away. I want to capture all the clouds. Get rid of them. Stop it.
No.
No.
So, if you haven't figured this out, Joel has a weird aversion to vaping.
I don't think it's weird. I don't think it's weird.
No, we think your aversion to it is weird.
No, it's not weird at all. I hope. Hey, I was into LaCroix way before anyone else was. Yes, I'm the hipster of LaCroix. Now everyone's freaking drinking.
What does that have to do with vape?
I'm just saying, my hatred towards vaping.
That's how every company works, though. They start small and they get bigger.
No, well, they were pretty big at start.
Which ones haven't?
What?
Which ones haven't started small and eventually got bigger?
Well, I'm hoping this is just a fad. And it goes away.
What is vaping?
Yeah, I hope people.
You hope people go back to cigarettes?
Yeah, no.
Cigarettes and e-juice.
Just be a man and stop. Don't need to puff a cloud.
Oh, you have any advice for people with depression?
My uncle
smile.
My uncle
You're
smoked.
prettier that way.
My uncle smoked for like I think it was like 15, 20 years of his life, and just decided, I'm stopping, and he just stopped.
Cool, good for him.
His uncle did it. Everybody is just like that. No excuses. He did it.
Yeah, exactly. Don't need no banana puff
So
smoke.
Joel, so can we get you hooked on cigarettes and have you just stop?
It's a social experiment.
Anyway, it's called cancer or nah.
Anyways, yeah, gaming. So, tell us about your gaming experiences. How do you play games? Like, is it something that when you start playing a game, do you have another window open with just a social channel that while you play, you want to be able to interact with other people? Mm-hmm. Do you stream all the time, or do you just play by yourself? Like, is that how you play, or just with another friend, but you're not I guess, connected to a Twitch or having to record or stream or something like that. It's just simply.
And do you vape while you play games?
And also, is it the type of thing where you want to watch all the trailers for something coming out? You want to look at everything.
Yeah.
You want to be a part of the community. So day one, as soon as the game drops, like you're in there with everybody else, experiencing it and enjoying it with them. Or do you want to shut it off, all of that, and just when the game comes out, you want to go play it by yourself and have that experience for you and nobody else? So there's going to be a variety of different opinions about what's the right way to do it and what you might enjoy. And the most important thing is we've all talked about our preferences. If you enjoy doing it, really, it's totally fine. Do whatever you want as long as you're not encouraging 13-year-olds to gamble.
That's the only thing. Everything else, permissible.
Yeah.
Pretty much. But yeah, let us know. We would be curious to hear what you think. All right, now it's time for What Are You Playing This Week? A part of the podcast where we talk about what we've been playing this week.
Was it this week? Okay.
Or the last week or two. James, what have you been doing?
I think the only game I've been playing, other than like a little bit here and there, has been Fallout Shelter. I've put like 13 hours into it in the last week. It's just, it didn't
The
click.
PC version.
Yeah, it did not click with me on the phone. But just something about being on a bigger screen, being able to zoom in and out with the mouse,
Being able to
the
share
scroll
clips with your
wheel,
friends and stream.
you know, being able to rip sick clouds while I'm playing because I got a free hand.
Best use of that free hand.
Ripping something.
Mostly,
Why?
anyway, the missions are pretty cool. Like I think that I would actually really enjoy another type of Fallout game if they wanted to branch out and put something in that universe, kind of going back to the older style.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a 2D, but you're exploring different rooms. I think it'd be a lot of fun to do a different way of playing Fallout again, and a little more fun maybe than Wasteland 2.
Dave, what about you?
Playing a lot of Star Wars with Joel. We're both at, I think, around 50 hours now.
I'm at almost 70 now.
Oh,
Because me and Joy, we played like 15 hours. When we
man, I see how it works. While I'm busy, you guys are just playing with
been
that?
working on your Fallout videos.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You do have the title of biggest Fallout fan in the group now, though. Like, you've definitely secured that title now. You have lore based around your character
I am waving that
that
flag.
a disturbing amount of people have bought into.
I also played through the worst section I've ever played in any Fallout game. It was the most... I was exploring an underground bunker, loving it, went into a computer to unlock memories, and it turned into an hour and a half of this weird mix between a crappy version of Portal, the settlement building mode, and Minecraft. It was a puzzle. And I was like, okay, like, first one, 10 minutes, something different, fine, whatever. That was pretty easy. It's like, oh, there's a second one. About 30 minutes later, I'm going, wait, there's a third, a fourth, a fifth. I was excited about exploring the bunker and getting some of the Far Harbor like content, like the actual content. And instead, I spent an hour and 40 minutes in this stupid puzzle thing. I forgot to tell you too, Joel. Mine kept glitching. I had to restart 3 of them because all the little bugs would get stuck on
Is there any
pathfinding.
mods or anything?
No, it's just I looked it up.
Huh.
They just get stuck sometimes,
Huh.
and so you go out and come back in and restart it.
Is it worse than Operation Anchorage? No, you didn't play any of the Fallout.
I
3
didn't
DLC.
play any of the 3 DLCs.
I
Yeah.
hated that DLC. Like, it felt like the most tedious. Like, I just want to finish the DLC. Like, I can't back out of the DLC and play something else. I have to push forward to get back to the regular game.
But yeah, man, I'm loving Far Harbor, but that I just like took a break for a few days after that because that was just it totally soured the experience. I hated that
You
section.
can see Dave's immersion levels just like rotting away.
it was such a crappy segment. And like if it had been like one little puzzle, it would have been like a little distraction. But it was so many of them. And Joel, you said on PS4 it had like a horrible frame rate.
Well, it's
too.
funny. I loved that segment. Me and Joy, we really enjoyed it. It took us only 50 minutes to get through the whole thing. But Joy was helping us, and we were like, this is great. The only sucky part is literally the frame rate is 15 FPS the entire time. Like, it's really bad.
Turns out PS4 owners are now admitting frame rate does matter a little bit. Bloodborne didn't do it. This did.
Well, this is, like, unbelievably low.
This is like
Just
Yeah.
Cause was unbelievably low.
it was really
but
bad.
you still played that with joy
And
in your face.
what's annoying is you go, the graphics on that area is It has nothing to do
It's
with graphics.
Minecraft.
It's got to
quality
be like
textures.
some.
It's
weird-
like supposed to
Yeah.
be super low res.
But I loved it. We went through it really fast. And we had fun figuring out the puzzles, and I enjoyed the story. Every little thing unlocked. But it's ridiculous.
If there had been 5 holotapes on a table, I would have loved that.
Yeah.
I would have sat there, listened to them for like 15 minutes.
I think
and
you
moved
saw it
on.
too much as just a straight mini game, like that took you out of this immersion. Like I liked it. It was fun.
I thought it was a crappy mechanic and a crappy segment and a real distraction, but I enjoyed it at 60 FPS.
Yeah.
Enjoyed it. In Witcher, I went on an episode recording that was supposed to be a treasure hunt. Had to split the treasure hunt, like looking for armor diagrams, in half. So I went on a rabbit trail that took 40 minutes where I rescued like a bunch of people and did like a whole story-based side quest. I love single-player RPG rabbit trails. Just a little confession, shouldn't surprise anybody. There it is.
Like that one time you just followed a creek. That was it.
Yeah, I've done that in Witcher too. I want to see where it came from.
Joel, what have you been playing?
I got one more.
All right.
I wanted to add something before we move on to Joel too.
Yeah.
The Battlefield 1 alpha ended. I put a total of 20 hours into it, 10 of them in the last week. Some of it was recording like cinematics and stuff, but I want to talk more about Battlefield 1 in the future because I'm far more excited for Battlefield 1 than I ever was for Battlefield 4. And if it's just not broken on launch, I'm excited to be excited about Battlefield again.
My son's also been playing Fallout Shelter.
Oh,
And he liked it so much, he tried to get it on his phone, but they didn't have it. But they had the Fallout radio app, so he's been listening to all the old 40s music now.
Yes.
You got to be so proud.
I'm so proud. Except when he started singing the words to Butcher Pete, I'm like... hacking and smacking and whacking. I'm like, that doesn't mean anything bad.
So one time you're like, it's just murder.
Yeah. That's just killing. He's cutting
It's
people
just
up.
killing. You're like, oh, phew.
Old Butcher Pete's gonna chop that meat.
Here I go, butchering again. All right, Joel, what have you been playing?
I've played a good amount of Fallout 4, and I told Dave I've now tracked 65 hours in Far Harbor now.
Wow.
Wait, in Far Harbor?
It's huge. It's a
I
big
don't
game.
understand. I'm at like 17 hours, maybe.
But I mean, like I'm doing everything in the game right now, like every quest and area and stuff like that.
Except for crafting, I assume.
No, I hate crafting.
I'm crafting.
I hate any of that.
You spent more time on the DLC than the main campaign.
No, I've got like 145 hours in the main campaign right now.
How?
What do you mean how? I've done like so much in
I
it.
put
There's
20
so much
hours
to do
in
in the
and
game.
then stopped.
Like I'm done. Like I think I've done 132 quests now.
Proud of
I
you.
mean, I did like
Not
80
very-
some hours and did all that.
It's boring.
I probably explored more, I guess, or taken more time. Even though I don't loot as much as you guys, I still go really slow, and I don't know, whatever. And then played a lot of Star Wars. Really enjoying the Bespin DLC. I got Joy of the Season Pass, and yeah, we're having a blast. Like, we have a lot of fun.
So-
we're enjoying unlocking the hut contract stuff.
If you just want to lay it out for us, Joel, not including the extra PS4, how much money have you given DICE and EA now for Battlefront?
Well, the DLC was $50,
Per game.
so that's 100 there plus.
120 for the 2 games.
I got Joy's copy, I think, at $30.
Oh,
So, just about.
So $80. No,
So, Joel,
$90 for the
yeah,
2 games.
When
Yeah.
you say like you'll do anything for Star Wars, you put your money where your mouth is.
Well, I mean,
Put the money in someone else's mouth.
well, here's the thing. It's not only just Star Wars, but,
It's memories that he's buying.
well, I mean,
From Disney.
like,
And
when your
EA.
wife enjoys playing a certain game and she's willing to play a game with you, there's honestly no money amount that.
And
I mean,
that's-
I've gotten
that's
a lot
secret
of
to
hours
marriage.
out
Your
of
wife's willing to
$20
play.
of the Nathan Drake collections. Really got me a lot of hours with the wife. So I don't really know. Now the amount of money she's put into Lego games, different story.
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly having that second PS4 is.
Now, see, if it was the good old days, you could both be running PCs next to each other, and then you just start Age of Empires. When he starts running, take the disc out, hand to her, she pops into her computer. As long as you don't turn it off, golden.
Dude, that's how we played Half-Life, like multiplayer. Pop the disc in. You're running, good to go. Pop it out.
What have you been playing?
2 games, mostly, that are different from like the standard Witcher and Doom and everything else.
Counter-Strike gambling.
Yes.
Oh, hours.
Pokemon.
I've opened
Go.
some sick cases.
Gambling. Oh yeah, I should have said Pokemon Go.
First is Quantum Break, because I want to do a Potato Mash review. I've started playing it on the Xbox One. It's not great. I can see what they're going for. They're trying to do like a heavy rain / action movie type thing. Pretty good voice acting, like really good voice acting.
Did you play Alan Wake?
Yes.
Okay.
pretty decent animation, stuff like that. Where they really go wrong is honestly the graphics. And I like graphics, but for most games, graphics do not make the game good or bad. They just accentuate it. For this game, it is very much in the uncanny valley of people's eyes and facial expressions, like really natural, and then sometimes they're walking like robots and just staring at you with these dead eyes. And the second thing is, because on the Xbox One, it is not a super powerful console. The game is running at a mixture of 720p and 1080p. So some things are rendered at 720p, but there's additional depth samples that are taken. It's like resolution scaling, but it's more complicated.
It's like layered.
And the image is reconstituted from several 720p passes. What this really means is if you have a still image and you look at it, most of it looks like it's 1080p. But like some angled objects and stuff are blurry. They look like 720p. And then other things, like some of the effects, are just bad. Like, it's got a heavy bokeh depth of field effect. And someday I want to do a YouTube video on why every single game does bokeh depth of field horribly wrong. But have you seen bad green screening where you see people's hair flickering and stuff? Ooh. The bokeh depth of field,
Phantom Menace,
is like is like haloed around people's hair. It's very noticeable. Like, even if you don't care about graphics, I spotted it within 10 seconds. I saw it, and it bothered me for like the hour I've played so far. It bothers me constantly. If you're running, you don't really notice it, but you can just see like a halo around people's heads of this depth of field effect. And I haven't got to try it on the PC yet because it won't start. I've been reading about it online a lot. It just gets to the home screen. You press A to play, and you press it, and then the log into Xbox screen pops up, and then just goes back away, and then it loops you back to the menu. And from reading online, the only surefire way to get the game working on PC is to torrent it. So either I'm gonna try some more stuff on the Potato Masher. If I can't get it working, I'm gonna have to.
Do you have Windows 10 on there?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to abandon that's the only way to play Quantum Break.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to abandon the Potato Masher video, send the game back, try to get a refund. I mean, I'll make a short little video telling people what's going on because people have been asking for Quantum Break. But I'll try it on my personal PC too because I'm running Windows 10. But it's very disappointing. It was the first universal Windows platform game that was released, and Microsoft has even said they totally flubbed the launch. So that's not like necessarily a sign of things to come. The Forza Apex launch was much, much better.
Well, that's a third party. Well, it's kind of a second party.
It's like, but the first party and the third party.
But on to the gameplay. The gameplay is also not amazing. So there is a cool little thing where you can like time warp and dash around people. It kind of feels like a little bit like you're playing Ciri in The Witcher 3, where you can like warp from place to place really close. Oh, Ciri's awesome. But the gunplay is not great. It's very, very simple, like going behind cover, popping out and stuff. The guns are all very throwaway. Like, it feels like if the story was incredible, you wouldn't really care. But the story's just okay. Like, it feels like a very solid 7.5 game. Like, it's perfectly competent, except the graphics aren't good. And, you know, parts of the graphics are beautiful and parts of them stand out as really, really annoying. It'd be much, much better if the entire game was just, like, average than them try to reach great heights and then fall.
So what game have you been just straight up just playing, not for recording or anything else?
Yes.
Games?
Yeah, Uncharted 2, Among Thieves. Hope and I just finished it. She likes watching it. She enjoys it for the story and everything, which I've actually, ever since we played The Last of Us, I wanted to play these games because they've got, I mean, they're perfect Indiana Jones, alternate universe, continuation type stuff.
Without the crystal skulls.
and Uncharted 2 holds up really well. Uncharted 3, we've started that. I think its graphics honestly could be a PS4 game. Like, it's that good. Uncharted 2, you know, there's a few little holes. You can tell there's a few spots.
Can't wait for you to get to 4, man.
But overall, I feel like I played Uncharted 2 once. The week it came out, we marathoned it in like a day and a half, you know, in between classes, and then I haven't touched it since. So it's been like 6 or 7 years since I played it. The third act doesn't really, it kind of loses itself a little bit in the third act, and I feel like it drags out the ending a little bit too much, and it kind of falls into the traditional action movie trope of like the MacGuffin thing they're looking for. They go back and forth on it. There's a bunch of twists and turns right at the end, and like by the end, it actually took us about
Fast and Furious.
That's different. It took us like a week or two to get through the.
It's
the
different.
last,
I love that.
No, I love Uncharted, but to get to the last like 5 or 6 little chapters, it took us like a couple weeks just because we lost a little bit of motivation. Because the first part of the game, there's so many amazing set pieces. That's what that game is known for. Like, you're in the building that's collapsing while you're like jumping from building to building. The train sequence, climbing up the train. All the all the different car crashes and stuff you're involved in. Like, the polish on that game is awesome. But the story wise, I feel like this is the first game. Uncharted 1 was just them trying something new, and it did really, really well. So Uncharted 2 was like, okay, let's just take it from there. And it was good. Honestly, I'm enjoying Uncharted 3 more so far. And when I played them back to back, when I played Uncharted 3 right when it came out, I agreed with most people was that it was really good, but not as good as Uncharted 2. And I think I'm enjoying it now more because the story it's like getting going a little slower. It feels more like a continuation of an action movie franchise and stuff. And I'm really, really enjoying it, but it's...
Visually, though, when it came out, it was one of the best looking games.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
That generation.
And that's one thing I know I've talked about before. I would love to play one of the Uncharted games or The Last of Us or something on a PC, just so you could see the quality that the developers were putting into it.
Naughty Dog do an exclusive PC game.
Yeah, because the quality that they're putting into the artwork, I'd love to see that like with no limitations. It's not I'm not hating on PlayStation. I'd like to be able to take the best hardware available and see how good the game looks.
Oh man, Uncharted with like Star Citizen level like.
Dude, they would blow away. I think Crysis, like even them games. I think
Rise of the Tomb Raider is incredible.
I can't wait to play that.
Yeah, it's incredible looking, like in 4K. It's really, really good, but...
Oh, did you play it 4K?
No, and then on the PC...
How many cards do you have?
I've been 2. I've been playing...
How many cores?
I've been playing more Doom. Doom, I love the game. It's definitely going to show up in my Game of the Year award stuff. There's a lot of rough edges on the PC port that I think people are giving too many free passes to. It lost my saves after an update. It said they were corrupted, and I had to go through a very convoluted process to get the saves back up and working again. And I tried to do the same thing on the Potato Masher so I could do a test video, and it didn't work. So they're like, there's a chance you'll lose your save and it won't come back. So hopefully I get a little time this week. I'm going to try to just finish Doom so I don't have to worry about it anymore. The snap maps are a lot of fun. We've been playing a lot of just community-added things. A lot of them are dumb and not very balanced and not really play-tested. But some of them are really fun, unique, just wave-based stuff. And then the actual game itself, it's just been building to where... It's just so over the top now. I've got like 8 weapons and they're all switching along the top bar. And you go through all the ammo on one, switch to the next one. And like it used to be early in the game, one Hell Knight was like, holy crap, I gotta fight a Hell Knight. And the first time I had to fight 2 at the same time, it took me like 5 tries because I'm playing on pretty hard difficulty. Just bunny hopping around the room, trying to stay one step ahead of them and just dumping as many shots into them as I can, trying to hit all the ammo as fast as I could. And now, like, there's like 3 Hell Knights and 2 Barons and whatever. And I'm like, whatever, not a big deal. But there's just the visceral thrill of like, you're almost out of ammo on all your guns. You're really, really low on health. An additional enemy pops up and you're like, I think they got me. I think they got me. Oh, wait. Chainsaw! And you just whip it out and like, hop on top of this enemy and ride them to the ground, like cutting them in half, and there's ammo sprayed everywhere.
Whip it out and ride them to the ground.
Pop it out and ride them to the ground.
Woo! Rip a sick demon. The game is a complete blast. It's so over the top and so silly. I need to just finish it just so I can not have to worry about the whole save game and stuff, but
for
that's
sure.
kind of what I'm playing. But you guys owe it to yourself to check it out. But all right, it's now time for the news.
News time!
First news item, the GTX 1060 has released.
Ooh,
I knew that because I opened up my subscriptions on YouTube.
Oh, it's time for graphics card news. Put your drink down. Pay attention. It's important.
Cheers.
I opened up my subscriptions thing and I was like, oh, an NDA must, or like a what are they called? Not an NDA.
Oh man. I mean, it's a non-disclosure agreement, but it's when it has an end, it's
Why do none of us know this?
I know it. It's right there.
I know.
Everybody be quiet a second.
Everyone just focus.
Let me think. Embargo.
Yes.
It's like embargo must have lifted. There's like 7 Digital Foundry videos, and every other tech channel I find has like a follow has a video. So the GTX 1060 releases. As usual, the tech media is overly biased towards NVIDIA, even though in some ways they're a terrible company. We'll talk about that in a future podcast. They make good cards, but people give free passes to a lot of their cards they wouldn't get to give to AMD. The GTX 1060 is indeed faster than the RX 480. Its MSRP is also $50 more expensive. Big surprise. It's 10% faster and 25% more expensive.
How much RAM does it come with?
6.
6.
Which is totally fine. But
so is it $50 more than the 8 gig
It's the
model?
same price. It's $10 more than the 8 gig RX 480.
Are they doing a 1050? Is that? a thing?
Presumably, because this is slotting in at $250 to $280, which
So
means,
for the 900 series, there's 950, 960, 970, 980.
yeah. But the 960 started like at 200. The 950 started.
730 or something random, 710.
Yeah, they didn't. They've come out with some of those that are just like old.
Isn't that for mobile though?
No, it's for people who want to spend $20 on a garbage card that can't play anything.
Well, it was just random because they started doing all the 900 series.
They use
Then
old
came out-
architecture, but
they
like
came
it
out with a
doesn't-
700 series card like much later. Like,
Oh gosh.
But so it is faster, but I'm a little bit concerned that Nvidia is not really doing anything for the lower end of the market. Like this is the third card in the series, and it's basically a $300 card. And so, I mean, it's launching only $50 less than the 970 did, and it's a little bit faster than the 970. It's about as fast as a 980. It's a pretty good card, but it's launching realistically around $300. Although in some markets, apparently the RX 480 is getting a little bit of a markup from vendors, and they're harder to get in stock right now. So in some markets, it's cheaper to buy a 1060. So it is faster. I would not worry about the 2 gig VRAM difference right now. Not a problem.
It'll definitely rip sick graphics.
I know you're upset by that phrase, but it's okay.
It's got all that sweet VRAM.
I'm more excited by the RX 470, which is not out yet, but that's going to be launching at the $150 price point. I feel like
Is it announced yet officially?
Yeah, they announced it at E3.
What do you have in your computer right now?
I have a 980 Ti.
That's going to be a really good entry level.
It is. I've already started making some PC part picker lists for possible PS4 Neo competitors.
Spoilers.
And the RX 470 could be a really, really awesome card. It probably won't be any faster than like an R9 290X, but it'll have like less than half the power usage and be so much cooler and quieter.
Cheaper than it would be on eBay for a 290X.
Yeah, exactly. So it promises to be a very, very good card. But yeah, I mean, if you want to spend a lot of money, NVIDIA will take your money. But honestly, if you're just still doing 1080p gaming, there are 970s going for close to $200 right now, even new, 200, 230. Get a 970.
What do I have?
You have a 980.
Oh, right.
So this new 1060 is about as fast as your card.
Because the freaking TIs and all that stuff, I get confused.
It's all right. It's okay. It's okay, Joel. We got
You
you.
just described it.
I just like,
You've moved on to modding other things. I got it.
I just like, you know what? I upgrade when it's like, oh, I launch again. I'm like, oh,
You upgrade
this
whenever
looks
Sony
awful.
lets you.
I was like, this looks awful. All right, I guess I gotta upgrade.
Joel,
that's what I should upgrade.
You upgraded when I told you to. Joel, buy my card.
Well, I had the,
Let's say Joel's
I had the 970 before
description
that, I
of
think.
upgrading is like, oh, I upgraded my kitchen. Oh, really? What'd you do? I bought it in your house.
Console gaming in a nutshell.
Happiness and peace.
I mean, it is
Not much money, but it's simple.
It is pretty worry free.
I'm saving so much time with those frames I don't have.
It gives me more time to look at them.
20.
It doesn't flash by so quick. 120.
I can do other stuff while the other 20 some frames are missing.
I told Jeremiah doing Dirt Rally Race last week that NVIDIA came out with a patch or whatever, and I don't know what it was, and it was upgrade. And it reset everything for Dirt Rally. And the week beforehand, basically that's when it happened, you know, I was racing pretty bad anyway, so I was not doing good. But I'm like, something doesn't look right. And all of a sudden I just went in the graphics set, and I was like, let me just click optimal or just auto detect. And I was like, oh shit. Like, it was not running at 60 at all for a while, but it was V-synced.
You did have vape sync turned on?
Vape snake. Oh gosh.
Vape snake. You broke your vape.
You're never going to see that again.
This is what an aneurysm looks like. This is the warning signs.
V-sync stands for vape sync.
So when you blow a sick cloud,
it was V-sync.
You want your cloud to not have screen
want
tearing.
tearing.
There was no tearing, but yet it was like at 40 FPS, but it wavered a lot. And it honestly made a huge difference just being stable.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh crap, I did a lot better this round too. And it might be because I like those tracks better, but I was like, dang it, how long has it been like this? 'Cause, I don't know. I just,
Now, if you use a performance overlay, you would know it wasn't running at 60.
But I hate seeing that garbage.
Then you can just use one hotkey and hide it after you verify it's running well.
But I mean, usually
One-
once you set
one
it,
key.
like,
Right. So
shouldn't you
it's like
just
one?
shouldn't you when you set graphics like
Evidently,
just be there? Yeah.
I mean, yours changed all on its own, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It did. Because how many times do I go in graphics settings?
Did you go in your NVIDIA settings and click optimize?
Or no, we did in game.
No, it just
No,
when
before.
the NVIDIA patch went through, I think it just reset some stuff. with that. So
The only way that NVIDIA patch, like a driver would update your game graphics settings is if you updated GeForce Experience and then had it scan all your games too.
it might have been that too. So it might
Don't
have been,
do that.
okay,
Yeah,
so it might have been-
never use the GeForce recommended settings for games. It's like, make this game run better? 2x anisotropic filtering.
Well, it honestly it worked really well for Battlefield 4 for me, honestly. But anyways,
Anyway, yeah. So, Joel, in news... Wait, which one were you doing? Yeah.
Rocket League?
Yeah, Rocket League. What's going on with Rocket League?
well, apparently Rocket League, at Psyonix, I think, right? They have Xbox One and PS4 versions. Basically, their netcode, however it works in the back end.
Architecture.
The architecture.
For crossplay.
The vape sync connected, or they have it basically on their end. They're ready to go. They're just waiting on Sony being able to say, all right, we're going to allow cross-platform play.
Which Sony has not said they're going to do.
Yeah, they haven't said anything.
But,
No.
so Jeremy Dunham, the vice president, said, right now we're literally at the point where all we need is to go ahead on the Sony side, and we can, in less than a business day, turn it on and have it up and working no problem. It'd literally take a few hours to propagate throughout the whole world. So really, we're just waiting on the permission to do so. I think it's very interesting.
Hint, hint, hint.
Yeah, Sony's never said they're going to do it. I think Psyonix is putting heavy, they want peer pressure on Sony to allow this to happen.
I think because Rocket League is they just pass 16 million users?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think I just saw it just a couple of days ago. Like, it's a crazy amount of people playing the game now. But it is such a popular game, and because they just did the crossplay from Xbox One as well, I think they do have a little bit of sway. Which is crazy to think that a game like Rocket League, which was kind of like such a small indie game, is now like a powerhouse.
It's probably
of games,
responsible for a
honestly.
lot of people keeping their PlayStation Plus subscription.
I bet so, yeah. But anyways, yeah, I mean, we'll see. I think it'd be great. I would love to see that happen.
On a quick side note, they have an announcement coming out, a surprise coming out in the next few weeks. I didn't put it in the news, obviously, but
Rocket League
Space.
MMO.
Oh.
they said something really exciting, a really exciting surprise.
I mean, Rocket League's amazing anyway.
I just thought a game they could probably do really well if they owned the IP or got the IP for it is Diddy Kong Racing. They used their driving physics to make another Diddy Kong Racing. I bet Sonics would do a really good job with that game.
Cool.
Sorry, it was random.
James.
So we went out to dinner tonight, and where we went to dinner happened to have a Pokemon. What are they called?
Pokestop.
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 And someone put a lure there, and Joel's sitting there, just catching
Pokemon.
over and over and
Yep.
over and over.
And collecting Pokemon.
Gotta catch them all.
Yep, got him.
And the waiter, like he was talking about, you playing Pokemon Go?
Yeah.
What's that? Is that a whatever?
I honestly didn't know what he was talking about, but I know he was talking about Pokemon.
Some specific name
Yeah.
of a. So anyway, apparently someone got into a car accident while playing Pokemon Go.
But apparently, there's a great video of it happening.
There's a great video caught by the police officer's body cam as the car runs into his car on the side of the road. And the best part for me is being an idiot. If I was doing something stupid,
Yeah.
first thing I'm gonna do is turn my phone off, put it in my pocket, just say I dropped something, or I'm gonna say something that doesn't make it seem like I'm just
I looked
being
away for a second.
100% negligent while I'm driving, being reckless. But he gets out of the car with his phone and says, "I know I shouldn't have been playing this dumbass game."
Well,
okay, he's being honest.
Yeah, but
at the
you
same
don't
time-
have to be honest. You don't be dishonest.
there's being honest, Jeremiah, and then there's actually confessing to a police officer at the scene of an accident.
I mean, there is already video footage of him veering into the car on like an otherwise not crowded street.
Yeah.
He's definitely like at fault. Like there's no question
But
about
distracted
that.
driving could be just generic, like, oh, he was distracted driving probably. And then you're gonna get your ticket.
I don't know.
It was kind of cool to
it
see him
was
just go, you know what, I'm just owning up to this shit.
He's leaning into it because not only that, he also looked down and still was swiping a little bit of his phone. Like,
He just got like another piece. It was
he's like, you better be a good fighter.
It was 3 a.m., so the cop could assume he was tired. They could assume that,
Yeah.
any number of things. But to get out and basically confess
What if-
that you've been recklessly
How
driving.
crazy it would be if a news story comes out? They're like, they've done a lure right by the cop car. Like it's like a cop sting operation.
It's like right on top of the car, so you have to get over there.
You know,
and try to
there's already been a story of I think some military like
Submarines.
it was Marines or something like that they used one of the Poke Stops or whatever, I think, because it takes a picture of like where you are location wise, and they tracked somebody who was not doing something good.
Apparently, there was like some guy who showed up. Like a bunch of kids were playing. It was like getting dark in a park, and I'm gonna have this mostly right. I think I read it just a couple days ago when this story came out, and there were two guys were like playing Pokemon 2, like a bunch of kids running around, and there was some guy who kept like brushing up against kids, like following them around and being super creepy. Some of the parents were like being like really weirded out by it, and someone called the cops. The guy took off. They followed him. Made sure he didn't get away before the cops got there. Turns out he was like a sex offender with a warrant out for his arrest, like current warrant. Wasn't supposed to be anywhere near kids, and he was at the Pokestop because that's where all the kids were being a creeper.
Let's put a warning out. Don't go alone playing Pokemon Go. Don't go alone. Go with friends. Stay in a group.
Go with friends.
Bring bats.
Pokemon Go with
Catch
friends.
the Pokemon, of course.
That way, if the battle at a gym goes south, we can find who's the real winner. All right, and then Dave.
Surprise, surprise. I've got some Witcher-related news for us this week. First of all, the good news continues to roll in for the second coming of
A
Valve.
new expansion? Oh.
Yeah, for the second coming of Valve, which is, of course, CD Projekt Red. They are the successors
Can't
of
wait for them to come out with the Steam successor.
They have
GOG
They
Galaxy.
quit making games.
No, they already have GOG Galaxy. I use it for Witcher.
I mean, they quit making games now.
Yeah, they
Well,
can,
no,
they don't
you
have to
can't
make games
throttle
anymore. They can
bandwidth.
just stop.
It doesn't throttle bandwidth. Get on that, guys.
Start unlocking skins.
Basic
for
features.
Just two small news items.
Get
but-
rid of your customer support.
yeah,
You'll
that's
thank
That's the
us.
first way.
just two small bits of Witcher news, but two very cool things. First one is that The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, the third game alone, is about to sell a total of 10 million copies, which is the entirety of Witcher 1 and 2 for them, which is pretty wild. And that's, of
that
course...
means a Witcher 4 sometime.
Yes, please.
Without Geralt.
It's going to have to be. It's time... I feel like his story's over. But the other part of the news is
I feel like it's just getting...
Until Witcher 5.
the return of the king.
Sirius like, Geralt?
You like stood up straight. The return of the king.
Sirius like, there's only one white wolf I recognize. Shows Geralt killing a Jon Snow lookalike.
That'd be a great little Photoshop. All right, Game of Thrones spoilers.
I actually got like a little tick. Spoilers for the last episode of Game of Thrones. Everyone starts chanting like the White Wolf. I'm like, there's only one White Wolf
In
I
this
recognize.
All right, anyway.
Name's Geralt.
Geralt. Last bit of Witcher news. Metacritic is an interesting website. I use it for like quick looks.
Everybody knows what Metacritic is, Dave.
I mean, I honestly have a problem with Metacritic. I don't ever
This new
look
site,
at
they contacted us about me. Oh.
it. It's like a review aggregation site, but their standards are kind of shady, and like developers have lost bonuses based off of their Metacritic score. It's a little, I don't know.
It's not a perfect system.
It's not a perfect system, but there's a user rating you can do on Metacritic. So there's like the review scores and then user scores. The Witcher 3 just became the #1 rated PC game on Metacritic based on user reviews, and it unseated, obviously every game before it. Blood and Wine is, I think, in like number 30. So The Witcher 3 and its expansion Blood and Wine are now the only two games in the top, I think, 50 user reviews on Metacritic for PC that have come out in the last decade.
Wow.
Like, it just went right to the top. So that's a pretty impressive achievement for, like,
Half-Life 2 is now number 2. I'm guessing BioShock is right up there.
Yeah. It's really interesting because there's a bit of I guess you could say like a kickback on Reddit with the love for CDPR and The Witcher because you get it from everybody, but there's a reason for it, and it's cool to see like it's not just people riding the hype train. Like there really is a ground swell of really deep enthusiasm for the game.
It's not just Dave Swell.
I mean, I'm at the top of the swell.
Everybody's swelling.
Everybody's swelling together.
Everybody's swelling for Geralt.
Shout out to Debbie. Beat the game. Blood and Wine, Hearts of Stone, the game, everything.
She almost dropped some serious spoilers on Skype the other day. She starts to me. She's like, "Dave, I just got to the part with the." And I was like, "Whoa, you passed me!" Whoa.
She went for like a year of I'll get to it to like 150 hours in 2 months.
Yeah. She borrowed the 970 to play it, which that's a good cause right there.
It is now time for the mail.
Mail time.
you can write in this show, casualshenanigans@gmail.com, just like our good friend of the show, Quantum of Infinity did. And he says, as time flows forward, VR starts to form into a finished product, and we hear about it more and more, and here my hype train just derailed hard. English is not his first language for anyone who's not familiar with Quantum. He's an awesome guy, though, very articulate for someone who speaks two languages. Again, more tech demos. What the heck? I want to see real games. And when VR is finally released, my hype train not only derailed, but it exploded too. And here are a couple reasons why. First, the Oculus exclusivity controversy. No, just no. At this moment, I turned from loving Oculus to absolutely hating it. I mean, it seems like a good device, but as HTC Vive is open and has motion controllers out of the box, it's obviously a better choice. This is PC, and anything that tries to remove freedom of choice gets a big nope from me. Vive is more expensive.
Is it more expensive?
$800.
Yeah,
Because it comes with the motion controllers.
That's right.
Then is the price.
PS4.
You want how much for something that for now sounds like a gimmick? $800 for the Vive and $600 for Oculus? Thanks, I'll wait. I mean, if I could see real games I want to play, I may justify the price of this device, but many games seem like tech demos again, not like a full game. The only real, or should I say complete game I could see myself playing in VR is Elite Dangerous. A space sim in VR seems tempting as there are some beautiful views in this game. I could just imagine landing on the dark side of a planet that's illuminated by a stellar nebula. On a flat screen, it's already impressive, and I guess it looks mind-blowing in VR. But yeah, this is only one full game, and I can't justify $800 for a Vive as I don't want to support Oculus. And even if there are better games in the future, it still feels to me like a gimmick, just like a wheel for racing or a HOTAS for playing space sims. But this gimmick is way too expensive. For now, if I had money for a Vive or a PC upgrade, I would choose a PC upgrade. For now, it seems to me like I would buy it, play a bunch of tech demos in Elite Dangerous, and then after I'm finished, I would just leave it to collect dust. In summary, VR is awesome, but it's way too expensive for the experience you're getting, which I agree with for now. I don't think there's...
I 100% agree.
Yeah, it maybe by Gen 2, or maybe within like a year of it coming out, but right now I'm really pumped about VR. I'm not really pumped about most of the stuff I can actually play, like for actual normal gameplay. There'll be a bunch of cool tech demos to talk about, but I'm skeptical, I guess I'll say.
Now, Joel, before you get down, I just want to remind you something, okay? Star Wars VR.
Which I'm sure will
Star
be cool.
Wars VR.
a cloud.
It's a cloud of Star Wars immersion. Sick cloud of Star Wars immersion.
Resident Evil 7 I think should be out for Vive as well. That's a
It
It
should
will
be
be,
pretty good.
but what they showed is not going to be in the game.
No,
And it's not really even represent-
No, it's going to be in the game.
No,
No,
they
that's
s-
not representative of the whole game.
No, they
It's not
said
gonna
that.
be like that
They
the
said
whole
the
time.
specific level wasn't. Didn't they say something?
No, they were just talking about that doesn't represent the whole game. Like it's gonna have guns. It's gonna have other stuff. I think it's connecting to another story too of it. It's almost like think of like the Fallout little like memory thing. That's not Fallout. That's just a part of it.
Better not be Fallout.
It's something that worked well as a demo.
It's now time for 90 Seconds with Joel, part of the podcast where Joel tells us a little story or encourages us or says a joke or just does whatever.
Please, my man.
Live.
I had a dream a couple nights ago, and I tend to remember the dreams like halfway through the day. I was like, oh crap, I just had that. Like I was like,
I was a wizard.
It's like the middle of the office.
well, this was a really really weird dream. I've never had a dream like this before, and the reason why it was so weird is I was dreaming in third person, and I was like in a swamp, and I was getting attacked by an alligator, right? And I'm like getting eaten, and I'm screaming. Okay.
All right.
Okay, that's so weird. But the weirdest part is I'm watching myself getting eaten by an alligator as I'm standing on the edge, and I'm calling to myself, help, this hurts. And I'm like, hell no. I'm like, I didn't even help myself. So like, I'm getting gobbled up, chewed. I don't know, I'm getting chewed in half. And then yeah, that's it. I woke up, and half of the day I was just like, wait, I had a dream right now. I'm like, why didn't I help myself? I had a rope too. Like I had everything like I could have. I was like, eh.
Joel, a psychologist would have a field day with that dream. Are you kidding me?
You had an out-of-body experience in a dream
So weird.
where you wanted yourself to die.
Horribly and slowly.
Well, it's not that I wanted myself. I just was like, you'll be alright. It was so weird.
Would you rather have an alligator bite your legs off So now you have no legs, or become addicted to vaping for the rest of your life.
Jeez.
I'm sure vaping's not that bad.
I mean, people have done
To put this in
wheelchairs for a long
context,
time.
Joel said for $10,000 he would not vape for like an entire mod box full of each.
I would do-
no. But
Yeah.
for $1, he would at this restaurant we went tonight, he would sit down next to this couple who was on their first date. Pretty obviously, he would sit down next to them, eat some of their nachos, and start giving them like marriage advice for $1. But for $10,000, he wouldn't vape a bunch of e-juice.
E-juice.
E-juice. Stop, you freaking vape witch.
Juice.
It makes me feel slimy. Like, I don't like that. Just stop it.
Click on that slime in a little vial and pour it in your mod.
Sick, bro. Sick.
Anyways, it was so weird.
That's concerning.
Okay, have you guys ever had like a weird dream where you're just like, why did I do that? Why would I ever think that? Like, it's
All
just
the time.
Okay. Well, you have yours that like last for 40 hours. And you wake up, you're like, I've been asleep for 30 seconds. Anyways, I was just laughing because I was like, why didn't I help myself? Like, I could have said, because I'm like hearing myself screaming like, this hurts.
He's like, that's weird. Probably doesn't mean anything. Anyway, back to eating all this junk food.
That's pretty dark.
Another delicious LaCroix. What's it please? Just essence.
Essence of
E-juice.
cran.
Cran raspberry.
Cran raspberry.
That is not a thing.
Natural cran raspberry flavored sparkling.
Natural cran raspberry. They naturally grow on trees.
Has science gone too
You
far?
make the
It's a
cran
product
and the
of USA.
raspberry
That's
kiss,
nice.
and you just shake the essence into a jar.
I'm actually surprised. It's actually a product
That's
made
what
in
the
USA.
E stands for in e-juice.
What?
Essence.
No, it doesn't.
I'm
It's
kidding.
electronic.
Oh, okay. Oh, right. Yeah. I was like, wait a second. But I'm like, it kind of made sense. I was like, no.
Pokemon.
Good talk.
Right into the podcast with your best. Would Joel rather vape one entire, mod box full of e-juice, or would he rather do this other thing? And we will make Joel pick on the podcast.
Or if you
And
actually,
this is serious. This isn't like, would you rather become Hitler or like rip a vape? This is like stuff that Joel actually could do, and we're gonna find there's a line.
Stop saying
Would you,
rip.
Joel? Would
Rip
you do
is
it
sick.
for $1 million? Would you do it for $1 million?
I would have to. Like, I would have to.
So there's a price.
I would have.
There's
like,
a price.
I know. Like my brain would be like, no, don't you dare whip anything.
You know what I wonder, Joel?
But I would have to.
I mean, obviously, the sick clouds are gonna be like colored and like have like a smell to them. I wonder if it's like kind of warm and steamy too. So it's kind of like greasy.
It's like a moist cloud.
Yeah, ooh,
No.
a moist, sick, moist cloud.
I would do it. Like, I would force myself to.
if you also
Whatever the heck.
if you actually vape, please send us pictures
Ooh,
so we can
Tell us
show
how
Joel.
vape has actually helped you.
Don't send any sick clouds or nothing of that.
Send us
They're
your-
not. There's
send
no
us a
sick
picture
clouds.
of your
phone
sickest
with
cloud.
Joel on it and just blow the cloud into Joel's face.
envelop Joel in your sick clouds.
It's like I don't know. I'm like it's like they're like it's like freaking clowns to me. Like I'm just like I hate clowns. Like people just like, can't stand clowns.
It's like clouds.
So you're scared of vaping?
Like people are just like I don't know. Like they
Remember that Stephen King movie, The Vape?
It's like The Mist. It's the sequel to The Mist.
the source
The cookies and
the source
cream
is guy
clouds.
just like in a cave like
Good talk.
Thank you, everybody, for coming out and watching or listening to the podcast. As always, you can find us at casualshenanigans.com. You can tweet at casualshenanigan. Find us on Facebook, where we're going to be posting more and more exclusive content that's not anywhere else, and it's a little bit easier to interact with on Facebook, kind of unique things. But you can always find us on YouTube at Casual Shenanigans. You can find us. On Snapchat at Casual Shenanigan, and you can write into casualshenanigans@gmail.com to be a part of the show. You can either talk about, this week's topic, a previous week's topic, or something that you're excited about an upcoming game, whatever. We just want to hear from you guys. And you can also rate us on iTunes. You can rate us or leave a review. And we might start reading some of those out in the podcast because I figured out a way to actually read them now.
You can also find Joel protesting outside of the local vape shops.
And you can email your vape fan photos to casualshenanigans@gmail.com. Just attention, Joel, in the subject line.
Check out this sick one.
His face like turns purple.
That is like palpable
I'm expecting
rage.
like a vein to just pop out of his forehead.
Check out this room filler.
If you like a hot box in your car with like cookies and cream vape,
It's
Put on the
not
podcast.
a real thing.
send us a video of the podcast playing in your car, preferably 90 seconds with Joel. That'd be a good segment. Just like with the vape just everywhere. Play the Norman trailer really loud and blowing vape juice on the screen.
I'm gonna have to like. When he was coming to the theater, like, do you vape? Like, sorry, you have to leave. You have to watch.
Just like your brother who's working on the film vape.
I think so.
That's gonna be awkward.
You can't come, buddy.
I know what you do in your spare time.
Thank you everybody for coming out. Thank you for watching or listening to the show. We'll see you next week. Until then,
Rip a sick one.